Update 15 for Elite Dangerous is set to change the stage for the Thargoid War. A major feature rework is coming later this year, and the console transfer portal is about to reopen. This then is the latest news for Elite, so let's jump in and take a look, starting with the latest forum post posted by Frontier themselves. It contained a selection of news about Update 15, the major feature rework that we've heard about for a while now. Player-made factions are unfortunately closing, the console profile transfer portal is returning next month, and the live mode is going to be at the default download for Elite. So let's start with Update 15. This was originally set to arrive at the end of April. Frontier have pushed it back a little bit into May now, although we don't know at which point in May this is going to happen. It may be early May, it may be late May. Either way, Frontier have said that it's going to build upon the Thargoid narrative and be the next major stage of the Thargoid War. They've also posted a pretty big hint about the update in the form of a small clip. You can see that playing on the screen right here. And as many of us suspected, it seems it's going to surround events going on in the Thargoid Maelstroms. Now, this would be very fitting, as over recent weeks players have participated in community goals that are unlocking new technology, allowing players to stay within those toxic clouds for ever longer periods of time. Now onto the major feature rework. This was announced last year as part of Frontier's long-term roadmap. Unfortunately, Frontier have been very opaque about what this rework is going to be, and I really do feel that this is a little bit of a communications issue. At this point, Frontier should at least be given some hints as to what players can expect, because really, players' expectations are going to get out of hand if not. Now, some speculation is of course out there. Many people are suspecting that the rework could be an engineer rework. Other people suspect it could be a rebalancing of various aspects of the game, such as ship and weapon rebalancing. Other people still suspect it's going to be a background simulation rework, and this one is the one I suspect it's most likely going to be. I suspect it is going to be a BGS rework, largely because of the third piece of news that Frontier mentioned, and that is player-made factions. They said that applications for these are now closing. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself just there. We'll come back to that in a moment, but let's maintain our focus on the major feature rework. So Frontier have said that this rework is still being investigated, whatever that means. That seems to imply they're not actually working on it right now, but I suspect they really are. They say that this is still being investigated. However, a number of changes, not least the Thargoid War itself, have required our attention as a priority. We will share details of this investigation and our plans towards the end of the year, so it seems it's going to be much further into the year before we hear anything further about this. So a bit of a shame there. Again, I really do feel Frontier should be a little bit more communicative about that particular aspect, but let's move on. They do talk about player-made factions. They've announced that applications for these are now going to close. Now, Frontier have said that player-made factions have played a key role in the game, and that they've allowed players to shape the bubble. They say that this is the goal at the heart of our plans for Elite, reflected in the Thargoid War. So yes, we can very much see that players are able to influence the Thargoid War, and that is very much apparent when we look at the new galaxy map. Moving on, Frontier say our focus is now turning to investigate how upcoming systems will allow every player and player group to have a meaningful impact upon the galaxy's landscape. So this means we'll be closing applications for player-made factions. However, we will process any remaining applications. So it seems that in the future, player-made factions may take on a very different role, and it's quite possible that they could have more of a direct impact, or players rather will be able to have more of a direct impact on them, and that would be interesting to see. But again, that is speculation, as Frontier being very vague here, but it does seem to be connected into the major feature rework, because they're using very much the same language there. So moving on to the next piece of information, this is the console profile transfer portal. This was live last year. It allowed players to move from PlayStation and Xbox over to PC. Frontier did shut it down in November, but it is now back. And Frontier said this time it's going to stay open indefinitely. The good news here is, as before, if you want to move from console to PC, All of your information, for the most part of it anyway, on your save will transfer over. You can see a list on the screen right here of the things that will transfer over versus what won't transfer over. The good news is that if you want to make the transfer, Frontier will be giving you a free copy of Elite Dangerous over on PC. And the other bit of good news is that this won't delete your profile on consoles. You'll have 2 active profiles after the transfer. You'll then be able to play on PC as well as on console. The final piece of news today is that live mode is going to be the default download for Elite Dangerous in the future. So, as many of you will be aware, there's 2 versions of Elite, well, more than 2 versions, but 2 main versions of Elite. There's the live version as well as the legacy version. The legacy version is Elite Dangerous as it stood before the Horizons, or the Odyssey rather, before the Odyssey update. So this means that in future, when you download Elite Dangerous, it will automatically download the live version of the game. If you're a player who happens to prefer playing on the legacy version, you will then have to re-download that version of the game in order to continue playing it. But it's not going anywhere, it will stay around. Frontier have said that this will encourage new players to try the main version of Elite with access to future updates while keeping a legacy as an optional alternative. Speculation there, maybe a few too many people are playing the legacy version of Elite, and Frontier now want to encourage people to move over to the newer version. At any rate, that's everything we have so far. Frontier have said the announcements here outline several major plans for the upcoming year, and they've also said there will be further announcements over the coming week, so looking forward to hearing all of those. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.